We are back for UFC 317, where we will be crowning the new lightweight king. All right, and Alessandro Pantoja will be attempting to continue his route onto GOAT of flyweight. We will see how that goes. I think it's been going pretty well so far, and we got a ton of good fights on the card. A couple weird ones on the prelims because of some last minute switch ups, but I know it's a crazy card. See, we've had a few withdrawals. Cedric Tomas, who literally had to drop out. Apparently, this is maybe a rumor, but this is the narrative I've heard, is that he couldn't get his ankle monitor off in time. Absolutely crazy. Tafa brother dropped out. Manel Cop dropped out of fracturing his foot. I can't remember. And then this bout was rescheduled for Dustin Poirier because that needed some beef, which is understandable. But we still have a great card. And starting off, we got one of the ones that was just created based off circumstance, to be honest. This was not even supposed to be this. But we got two guys making their debut. No, didn't even go through Contender Series, just straight from Fight Pass to UFC debut. Let's go. And I think I'm going to go James McVeigh just because the height advantage, the reach, I'm assuming reach advantage, and the youth. I'm also picking that. When I was looking through the opponent's records, I like that. It seemed like he had more of the submission threat along with the knockout threat. Tons of knockouts in his pro schedule so far. And I just, some of the competition that Christopher Ewer was going against, like his second fight in, he was going against an 0-10 guy. I just like the experience of the opponents that Jackson McVeigh was. I liked the guys on LFA a bit more than the guys on Fury FC. No offense to those guys over there, but I just think all that together, I think you just got a bit more likelihood to win for Jackson here. So going Jackson. Next we got Johanna Diniz versus, I think it's Johanna, versus Alvin Hines. All right. Alvin Hines is definitely an entertaining heavyweight. Not the biggest heavyweight for sure, but very entertaining. Got a nice little Muay Thai style. Got a nasty, destructive head kick in his last win. And he set it up really well. Set it up with that jab to the body. Set it up with the leg kicks. He was doing a really good job. And as soon as he feinted down low, brought that head kick up top. So I think he sets up his shots well. The thing is, though, I don't think he's going to be able to do that moving backwards. And I think Johanna Diniz is going to just be able to move forward on him. He's similar in weight, so it's not like it's going to be a huge weight disadvantage. He's got the height advantage. He's got the reach advantage by a lot. So he could hurt him with the jab and then close distance to try and keep Alvin Hines on his back foot. Alvin Hines does have a good guard. I do like his defense. But Johanna Diniz has also shown that he can employ the grappling. He was able to get on top of Marcin Tybura. Eventually had the doctor stop it after some good elbows from Marcin, and Diniz definitely made some grappling errors in terms of falling back for a leg lock and things like that, which definitely tired him out as the rounds went on. But I don't think Alvin Hines is going to present that kind of grappling threat here. I think that this is a fight designed for Johanna Diniz to win, but definitely an exciting new heavyweight to add in with Alvin Hines. Moving on. One of the biggest favorites in UFC history. Jacobe Smith versus Niko Price, the hybrid. Poor Niko. But, I mean, good for Niko. We're on his work recently. You know, he's gotten a couple wins. Never mind, he lost most recently. I do remember the Alex Morono win. So, very, very rough streak here for our boy Niko Price thus far. And I feel like they're really not doing him any favors. They're giving him probably one of the hottest, newest prospects in welterweight, who has credentials upon credentials coming into the UFC. The wrestling background, along with the power in the striking that he's already bringing in, 10-0. The momentum's huge. The contenders, he's at a beautiful age to be coming in. He could just slingshot himself up if he makes a crazy performance out of this. And the grappling threat, I mean, Niko Price definitely has his own trickiness on bottom, but I think Kobe here, the nickname is Kobe. He's going to have the game that just neutralizes that, I guarantee it. The back take off that Contender Series fight was absolutely disgusting, disrespectful. I expect him to do things like that in this fight, and I'd say finish Niko Price. You can probably bet on that. Bet on a finish. You can get some money out of him. Definitely put him in the parlay. All right, next up, Terrence McKinney versus Vyacheslav Borshchev. Excellent matchmaking here. I do think this is a great matchup. I do think this is slated for Borshchev to win, though. That's the thing. You got a guy in Borshchev who has never been knocked out and only been submitted once by Chase Hooper, and he didn't even actually tap to that. He did not even. It was an accidental. I can't remember if it was because it accidentally looked like a tap. Yeah, I think it was because it wasn't because the ref thought he was out. It's because he thought he tapped by accident, and he definitely didn't though. It was definitely an accident. It wasn't a Brazilian tap, as they say. So only one finish, lost by decision before. Terrence McKinney, I must remind, has never won a fight by decision, ever, ever, ever. And I definitely believe Borshchev is going to make it into the second round. I don't think Terrence McKinney is going to get Borshchev out. He's got that Eastern European fucking chin, that grittiness that's just going to let him take massive damage. He took so much damage in the Chase Hooper fight and did not even tap to that. So I definitely, if Terrence McKinney does win this though, if he does win this, okay, and I don't know what Chase Hooper's next fight is to be honest, but I would love to see a Terrence McKinney Chase Hooper matchup eventually. That sounds fun, not gonna lie. If Terrence McKinney shows some big improvements, I'd say that'd be a fun matchup one day. But moving on, we're going with Vyacheslav Borshchev though there by decision. I'd say maybe a late finish, to second or third round. But I'm gonna say decision. Next we got Viviane Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. Tracy Cortez coming off a decent performance after the loss to Rose Namajunas. Let me just double check. That was the last fight, correct? Yes, last fight, losing to Rose Namajunas. On the other side, we got Viviane Araujo in her last fight, getting the win over hot prospect Karine Silva. So the grappling defense shown in that fight, excellent. Only losing to Natalia Silva, Amanda Ribas, Alexa Grasso recently. So definitely seeming like it's the cleaner strikers that are giving her more trouble. And not gonna lie, I mean, a lot of people reference that 5th round against Rose Namajunas where Tracy Cortez's grappling really came on, and she definitely has looked improved. You have to also consider the age. I mean, Viviane Araujo has definitely shown that she can turn back the clock with Karine Silva. But Karine Silva, I think, also showed us that she has a kind of a single thought process game, not really a huge diversity in her MMA game, and Viviane Araujo kind of exposed that there. But I am going to go with Tracy Cortez. I think the striking is going to be better. I think she's going to be faster. Grappling may also be there. Who knows? If Tracy can set up with the hands and get her covering up top, we could see some good takedowns landed by Tracy. But I do think she is going to win this fight. One of the fights I'm looking forward to the most on the card, Hyder Amil versus Jose Delgado. Everyone's talking down Hyder Amil because he just doesn't have the best technique in the world. There's a little something called the grind, okay? And this 27-year-old is going to learn that. This old 35-year-old young buck, all right? Young buck over here thinks he's going to come in, put Hyder Amil down. I don't think so. That O is not going to go, okay? I've seen Hyder Amil just show the absolute dog he has in him. And for me, the dog factor is one of the top X factors in my opinion. All right? And Hyder Amil's got it. I think he's going to press forward, put Jose Delgado on the back foot. He's going to gas him. All right? He's going to gas him. He's going to take him out or win by decision. All right? Hyder Amil here, a little plus 125 there. It's a good matchup. This is a really good matchup, though. And right timing for Hyder Amil. If he's going to be this young, if he's going to be this old coming into featherweight, he's got to show that he is keeping up with these prospects who are also doing as good as him. And that would be, I think, his ticket to a top 15 fight if he wins this one. Next, the man who's been away, hiding with back injuries in the mountains, doing top secret missions, Jack Hermansson, the Swedish wonder, is back to stop the momentum of another middleweight trying to make it into the top 15. Gregory Rodrigues, RoboCop. Is Joe Pyfer better fucking be below my boy, Jack Hermansson? Damn right. Good. Alright. That's what I like to see. Just wanted to make sure. Topology is geeking these days. All right, but Jack Hermansson, Gregory Rodrigues. This is a good matchup. This is a really good matchup. Gregory Rodrigues, who's absolutely going to be moving forward. Jack Hermansson, a grappler, as you know, his base, who likes to use his footwork to stay on the outside though and pump his jab for sure. Man, I have trouble picking against Jack Hermansson sometimes. I feel like you have to be a pretty good specialist to beat Jack Hermansson, or just like better in your overall MMA game, because I think Jack Hermansson usually goes in there with a great game plan most of the time. I think he's shown that plenty of times. And I think RoboCop takes too much damage, honestly. I think he takes way too much damage. And I think Jack Hermansson's built to win a decision over RoboCop over 3 rounds. I think RoboCop may take that first round, all right? But I think absolutely if, like, say, a knockdown happens to Hermansson in the first round, they go to the ground, Jack Hermansson, I think, will absolutely survive against, Gregory Rodrigues, who in his own right has great jiu-jitsu, great top pressure, and good ground and pound. I think Jack Hermansson is just going to be able to maneuver through that. I really do. I think he's just been around the block. And although he's older, I think all this time to rest, let his back heal, I think that only helps him at this age. It only helps him at this age. I really do. I don't think there's going to be no ring rust. He won his last fight against a huge power puncher, very similar to Gregory Rodrigues, but even Joe Piper is less tentative. Or more tentative rather than Gregory Rodrigues. So I think this will be a much tougher challenge for him, for sure. But I'm still going Hermansson. Next, Payton Talbott, Felipe Lima. Matchmaking on point. God, when I saw this fight, this is such a good fight. Such a good freaking fight. Such a close fight, too. It's going to be tough. Payton Talbott is dealing with a beautiful, well-rounded mixed martial artist in Felipe Lima, only 27 years old. Payton Talbott himself, 26-year-old. I think the difference in styles here is Felipe Lima is more of that stocky, really solid, standing his ground fighter, whereas Payton Talbott can be more fluid, more counter-striky, can really put a little bit more funk on it, I think. That's going to be the main difference between these two. Definitely the length and reach going on the side of Talbott that is going to help him in this matchup. He will need to use it. You need to stay on the outside for this and get your points added up. Man, but I feel like Felipe Lima is going to be one of the tougher matchups body type-wise for him. Let me see. The Muhammad Naimov is a big win. It's such a big win. And then beating Miles Johns and like showing he can take out the grappling threat as well. And in his fight to get into the UFC against Magard, I mean, that's a great win. Like, that's a grindy dude to get to win against. Oh, man. So, Muhammad Naimov is 5'9", similar reach. So, he's definitely fought someone with a similar build to Payton Talbott before. I really want to go with Felipe Lima. And I'm a big Payton Talbott fan. But man, Jungle Boy, he feels inevitable. Felipe Lima just feels inevitable. This dude's such a beast. Only lost his very first fight, if I'm not mistaken. His very first fight, he lost. And then from there, just became a fucking beast. I mean, look at this dude. The absolute monster shape this guy is in for a bantamweight. And he's a great build, not the highest reach, but 5'6" is just that point where you can get in on takedowns under these taller, lankier guys, and you can still get in with your tight boxing, He's such a freaking stonewall. Yeah, I'm going with Felipe Lima. Felipe Lima for this one, and he's got good price on him too. So, next we got Beneil Dariush, Renato Moicano, the matchup that never was, and Renato dropped his title shot. And I think he's going to drop this one as well. I'm going with Beneil Dariush. How many times has Beneil lost by decision? None. Beneil has never lost a decision. Never. Mostly because he is an amazing scrambler. He is such a good scrambler on the ground. So he beats so many people in those positions and gets ahead of them. Moicano is not as much of a scrambler. He's more of a top pressure, really classic, fundamental Like, really good single legs, all right? Good top half guard where he figure fours the legs, and that's where he kind of grinds you out until you get just a little too lazy to where he postures up and lands his elbows. Similar to Curtis Blades, similar to Marcin Tybura. A lot of good ground and pounders from that position, but I think Beneil Dariush is built to scramble from those positions. He will not let Renato Moicano lock it down. I also think Benny is a little bit faster on the shot. Renato's got a good jab, but when it comes to power and even he's probably similar speed to Moicano, if not faster than Moicano in the striking. They're both similar age. There's not a youth factor. I think Moicano's Dariush has absolutely been beat up and has had damage in his career. I think Moicano's more damage. You see homie's fucking, I forgot what this is called. With this little joint, this little bone here. You can see how badly it's separated over time and like how his body has just had to cope with that over time. I'm sure it's been repaired, but definitely doesn't look as stable as before. You can tell Moicano's taking damage, but I'm having more of a belief in Beneil Dariush here. I think he's going to actually knock Moicano out or win a decision. But I think a knockout could absolutely happen to Moicano. I don't think the grappling may fail a ton. It'll end up making Moicano very tired. And then in that third round, we may see him. I don't know, actually. Moicano's got decent cardio. So if anything, maybe a finish would come in the first round if Beneil really wants to push on that gas, which I think he should. I think he should push on Moicano early. I think Jalen Turner showed us that you can definitely take him. But yeah, Beneil Dariush. Let's see if he can come back and get something strung together. But after this win, I don't know his path really. That's a little tough. But yeah, Beneil Dariush. Again, the MMA gods blessed us. Brandon Royval, Joshua Van. Somehow we got an even better matchup. This is going to be Joshua Van's toughest matchup to date, though. Very similar to when he lost to Charles Johnson. He's going to be having to deal with really long reach and shots coming from tough angles, coming in fast. Brandon Royval's got even faster hands than Charles Johnson. Royval's definitely more of a straight shot kind of guy. His hook's kind of more like peck out there to kind of break the guard to follow up with his straight. And he's got good jiu-jitsu. All right, so if Joshua Van's head gets a little too low, Brandon Royval can snatch up a neck. I love Joshua Van, man. I really do. But just thinking about the matchup, I don't know. Maybe Joshua Van is built very similar in style to Alessandro Pantoja in a lot of ways, with just way less grappling pedigree. Just the way he can pressure forward with his boxing, similar to Pantoja. Pantoja even got some kicks in there too, though, and Joshua Van's starting to slowly build that into his game. I mean, what's Royval's age? 32? Man, you're just dealing with a guy in Royval who's got so much experience and has seen a lot of the things that Joshua Van's going to throw at him. I just don't think Royval has that kind of power in his hands. Like is it TKOs or KOs? Like, how many KOs? Okay, he's got 4 TKOs in the first round. How long ago were those, though? Okay? Like, so if we go way back, we got a knee in round 1. We got punches in his first fight. So, fourth fight, first fight. I guess this is a TKO. So, it's an injury. And then Mateus Nicolau, who does not have a good chin. But that's a good knee and punches. That is definitely something Van could be prone to. I'm trying to find any reason to pick Van, but I am going to pick Van, actually. I don't... Van may not respect Royval's power. He may move forward on him very disrespectfully. Royval's going to have to maybe introduce some grappling. Definitely front headlock Van. I think front headlocking Van and throwing knees is probably going to be the move here to really tire Van out. Kneeing up the middle, straights to the body. That's going to have to be Royval's plan. It's going to put the onus on Joshua to move forward. Joshua's got good head movement, though. Man, these odds are so good, too. I think the odds should be this, because Van is on a roll. You got to consider momentum. All right. I'm just going to do it. I'm going Joshua Van. I'm doing it. Sorry I stuck on that for so long, but I had to do it. Joshua Van. My man hopefully gets his title shot here. That would be amazing. That would be insane. Let's hope so, though. All right, next, Alexandre Pantoja, Kai Kara France. Kai Kara France's first shot at this title with Pantoja. Wait, it's not his first title shot, though, is it? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, okay, I'm not crazy. First title shot here for Kai Kara France. It's a big one. I do not think he's going to get it, though. I think Pantoja... And you can see Pantoja, even in his last fight, he's going to implement the game plan he needs to win. He disrespected Kai Asakura. Sorry, that was his last fight. The fight before that against Brandon Royval, correct? I'm not crazy on that. Excuse me, Steve Erceg. Sorry, he's just gotten so many title wins. It's hard to remember. Yeah, and he played it really smart, all right? This is definitely a different matchup than all of those, though, with Kai Kara France with these long arms and that shorter stature. That'll help him get underneath with uppercuts over the top of Pantoja's guard. He's going to be coming at him with those hard overhand shots at weird angles. Kai's got that power, but Pantoja's got one of the craziest chins we've seen in the UFC. He's got some of the greatest grappling he can use to, stop all that, to where in third, fourth, fifth round, Kai gonna have that power still? Is he gonna have that power still? I just don't think so. I think we're gonna see the champion here retain, and I think these are good odds. Why, man? God forbid we give the champion who's on his fourth title defense. God forbid we give him anything more than a minus 270 when we got insane odds all the time on ridiculous fights. But Pantoja, the disrespect, can't even get a minus 300. We kidding here? That's crazy to me. But, Pantoja, though, definitely, the age is a factor, and one day it will be a thing, especially at flyweight. But at the moment, Pantoja is just so exemplary of, like, an example of what it means to be a champion. It's just, I think it's inevitable that he wins. Let's go, Pantoja. The champion has a name. And his name is Charles do Bronx Oliveira. All right? Charles do Bronx Oliveira will reclaim his title. He will be a two-time lightweight champion. Okay? He will be a two-time lightweight champion. Ilia Topuria does look like he put on a bit of mass coming up to lightweight. I'm sure he already had a crazy cut for featherweight. He did put on a bit of mass for lightweight. But I think Charles Oliveira is coming in, and when he says he did kind of, but fighters say whatever when they go into a fight. He said he's going to push forward on Ilia, and Ilia says, I'm going to, go for it. I welcome that. And everyone's really nervous about that being Charles Oliveira's game plan. But the thing is, I think that is exactly what you need to do to Ilia Topuria, okay? You need to get him moving backwards, okay? Who did Ilia Topuria fight the most carefully with? Josh Emmett. He stayed at distance. He did not push a fast pace. He picked his shots, and he's kept really disciplined to his boxing. Which was impressive. If Ilia Topuria's plan is to move forward on Charles Oliveira while Charles Oliveira is moving forward on him, I do not think that ends well for him for a few reasons. I think Charles Oliveira's got some of the best cage wrestling, especially in the body lock, out of a lot of people in the UFC. Some of the best cage wrestling, best cage jiu-jitsu, if you want to call it, how he takes the back from the cage. Some of the best in the UFC. And I think Ilia is going to really have problems in the clinch with Charles Oliveira. I think Charles Oliveira is going to have a heavy clinch game. I think that's what he means by move forward. I don't think he means move forward in his shell and his Muay Thai stance and trying to strike at distance. I don't think that's what Charles wants to do. I think when he says move forward, I think he means move forward and literally get chest to chest with Ilia, tie him up in a clinch, and diminish that power by, because obviously the hooks, yes, hooks are more dangerous coming like when you're closer, but not when you're chest to chest. That's too close. Especially with a taller fighter in Charles Oliveira. If he's got a clinch for most of it, and he's throwing knees constantly, elbows constantly, like getting in close, I think Charles Oliveira is not going to be that much slower than Ilia. I think Ilia is going to have a speed advantage, but I think Charles Oliveira is not going to be that much slower. I think that is going to be the game plan for Charles to win this fight. And then eventually, when Ilia backs up to the fence, let me emphasize how good Charles Oliveira's like cage wrestling is. Chandler was literally running away back to turn anytime he came close to touching that fence. The wrestler Chandler had wanted nothing to do with the grappling with Charles Oliveira. He wanted nothing to do with it. Okay, Ilia Topuria is a better grappler, I think, than Chandler for sure. It's just with Oliveira's body type and style of grappling that he goes against Ilia with, and just the way those skills match up, I think the advantage is going to go to Oliveira in those situations. And I think Oliveira is going to go in there with that game plan because you saw in his Chandler fight, he was much more careful. He did want to employ the grappling a lot more, especially since he got injured in the middle of the fight along with Chandler. He got injured in the fight, and he had to rely on that grappling. He can always reach into that bag whenever he wants, and I think he's gonna be able to do it even better on Topuria than he did it on other people. Maybe. That's a bit of a hotter take, but suffice to say, Oliveira, I think those skills, he's gonna get it done. He will either choke out Ilia, or he will TKO him, choke him out or TKO him. I think. I don't think it'll. Might be a decision. I don't think it'll be a straight out cold KO. That would be crazy. But TKO or submission, I think, is the most likely bet. Rear naked choke for sure, I think, is a good bet. Yeah. Man, I just the lack of faith people have in and I'm pretty sure the odds are heavy toward Ilia. I haven't even revealed it. The disrespect to Charles Oliveira plus minus 420. That's crazy to me. That is insane to me. Charles Oliveira debatably won the fight against Arman Tsarukyan. Just compare the size of Arman Tsarukyan to Ilia Topuria. And Charles, Arman Tsarukyan is a fucking tank. Absolutely more powerful, more explosive, way stronger, really good wrestler. Definitely, I think, better in all those areas than Topuria. And Charles debatably beat him. Why? What is this insane wide line we're giving? Just because Topuria had a really good build and like a really good skill set for featherweight. People are putting so much stock in that. And I understand I'm putting a lot of weight on my ego right now, going as hard in the paint on this opinion as I am. But I'm really passionate about it, and I really think Oliveira's got a great chance of winning this, and should not be this wide. I think you're making good money on Oliveira if you bet him. That's what I think. Let's get into the parlay of the card, all right? First off, put Oliveira in there. Plus 320. Go ahead and put an underdog in your parlay. Why not? That's your risky parlay. If you want to, we'll have two separate parlays, one with Charles, one without Charles. Put a little less money in that one. But yeah, throw Charles in your risky one. But for the rest of it, we're going to go Pantoja. We're going to go Felipe Lima. We're going to get some good value there with Felipe Lima. Oh, man. I picked a lot of underdogs. That's crazy of me. Obviously, put Jacobe Smith on there. And put Jhonata Diniz. I think Jhonata Diniz is a good one to throw on there as well. These are a lot of close lines on here besides Jacobe Smith. Very close lines up and down the card. Really close lines. Actually, is this one close? Oh, yeah, they don't even have odds. You may not even be able to bet on that. Who knows? But yeah, guys, let me know what you think I got right, what you think I got wrong, what you guys are going to be feeling for this card. I think it's going to be one of the better cards of the year. I think it's going to be a fantastic card. And I think a new era in the lightweight division is going to begin either way. Because Oliveira, all those up-and-coming lightweights that want a little taste, mean, if Gaethje wants it again, Oliveira will fucking beat him again if he wants. Come on up, Gaethje. Get another one. Rack up those defenses for Oliveira so you can be a go to lightweight. All right, see you.